Today I'm going to explain the 4 superficial lines. Starting with the front line, it's the white tape. It starts from the top of the foot, goes up to the anterior tibialis, underneath the patella tendon, up to the rectus abdominis, into the pelvis. It also attaches crosses two joints, the knee and hip. Then it goes into the rectus abdominis, up into the chest, and then up to the neck. Next is the postural function of it is that it provides balance with the superficial back line, and it also supports when the head and ribcage fall forward of the gravity line. The movement function is extension of the knee, dorsiflexion of the foot, and flexion at the trunk, at the hip. Next is superficial back line, which is our pink line. It starts from the calcaneus, and it makes its way up through the gastrocnemius, into our glutes, and then into our rectus spinae, upper back, our upper wraps around our skull to the frontal region of the skull. Then the postural function is that it prevents flexion of the spine. It prevents flexion of the spine, and it contains a bunch of slow twitch muscle fibers. Also provides upright extension. The movement function of it is flexion of the knee, extension and hyperextension of the back, and plantar flexion of the foot. Next is our lateral line, which is in the red. It brackets both sides of the body, starting from the medial lateral part of the foot. It goes up the side of the ankle, up the leg and thigh, then it goes into the trunk, into the shoelace pattern, and then it's going to go up the neck, right to the skull by the ear. The postural function of it is to balance the front and back lines and to bilaterally balance left and right side of our body. The movement function is flexion of the trunk, or lateral flexion of the trunk, abduction of the hip, and eversion of the foot. Last is our superficial spiral line. Spiral line is a double helix, and it starts at the skull, which is our green. It's going to start at the skull, makes its way on the shoulders and then the upper back. It's going to wrap around our rib cage, and it's going to meet at our navel, and it's going to come to the front of our hips, down the outside of our thighs and knee, and then it's going to go inside into the ankle, then wrap around underneath our foot and go all the way back up to the skull, just like that. The postural function of it is that it balances all planes, frontal, sagittal, horizontal, and transverse, and it does rotation, movements, spirals and rotation through eccentric and isometric contractions. The back and front line, they're unique because they both have two parts to them. The front connects from the knees to the pelvis, and then pelvis to the skull. And then the back line connects from the toes to the knees, and then knees to the skull. When the body's in an upright extension and extended, then those lines are going to work together as a continuous integrated myofascia. That's all.